afternoon, Crosswinds. I'm Lydia. You know, there have been times in my life when I have been emotionally, mentally, and physically exhausted. For me, circumstances like financial instability, debt, drug addiction, and even being on the verge of eviction have had me feeling like I was slipping or even like losing traction. You know, emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion can create an overwhelming sense that you are losing ground, losing traction. Ever been on a run or a hike when suddenly you begin to slip and you lose that traction? In a split second, you think you're gonna fall. It can be such a distressing moment because maybe you're going down a slope, maybe you're running along and this happens. Nobody wants to be going along life only to suddenly realize that they're slipping. Change over the past 2 months has come so rapidly and affected us in ways that we didn't even know were possible. If you're like me, at one time or another, you may have felt like you were losing that ground, losing traction. Even now, you might be feeling this way. Some of these circumstances might be self-inflicted and some might be of no fault of your own. Whatever the situation is, we can gain traction and move forward together. You know, David in the Bible had the same experience or same feeling of feeling like he was slipping. In Psalm 94, 18 through 19, David cried out, "I'm slipping, but your unfailing love, O Lord, supported me. When doubt filled my mind, your comfort gave me renewed hope and cheer." You too can gain traction. We can gain traction by doing 2 things. One, it starts with your footing. And to gain it, you need to simply acknowledge Him. Proverbs 3, 5 through 6 says this: "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths." This word, acknowledge, has such a deep meaning. It means to know Him. It's a mental awareness of who God is and the consequential submission to His lordship. To acknowledge the Lord in every event means trusting Him and following His lead. Stop right now. Acknowledge Him. Acknowledge who He is, that He knows you and you know Him. 2, now move forward by strengthening yourself. Remember David when he arrived in the city of Ziklag with his men, horrified to find out that all their wives, children, and possessions had been taken captive by the Amalekites? Remember that? David and his men wept so loudly until they had no more strength to even weep. Even worse, David's men were so bitter in spirit and they wanted to stone David. Imagine the physical, mental, emotional distress David must have felt. But it was then that the Bible says that David strengthened himself in the Lord. Strengthen yourself by reading and reminding yourself of who you are and the promises that God has for you. You are a child of God. You are a co-heir. You are seated in the heavenly realms. God has marvelous plans for you. Have you gained your traction? Are you moving forward yet? Don't let your emotions cause you to slip any longer. Receive God's unfailing love, comfort, renewed hope, and cheer. Is there someone you know that needs to be encouraged? Share this video with them. Have a blessed week.